Okay, today we're going to be talking about proportions. So if you guys please get out your notes packet, find the one that says 7-4 proportions at the top. You'll notice that there's one definition you need to fill in and one definition I've already filled in for you. So please be ready to write down a definition and some practice problems with me. So the first thing is, if we're learning about proportions, we need to know, well, what is a proportion? So what I need you to write down is you need to write down a proportion is an equation that shows that two ratios are equivalent. So pause the video, copy down that one sentence onto your notes packet. Once you're done, unpause it and rejoin us. Okay, I'm assuming by now you've paused the video. If you haven't, please pause it, write that down. So a proportion is an equation that shows two ratios are equivalent. So what it's going to look like I have a ratio on the left side and a ratio on the right side, or as we know them more commonly as fractions. So here would be an example of a ratio. 2/3 equals 4/6. What I would like you to do right now is write that down somewhere on your paper as well as an example of what a proportion is, preferably near your definition for proportion. I know that this is a proportion because your cross products are going to be equal. Okay, got caught off there at the bottom. Now, what do I mean by cross products? Well, luckily there's a definition on your notes packet for what cross products are. Cross products say to multiply the numbers diagonal to each other, and you need to get it equal to the other cross product. So one cross product is going to be 2 times 6. So my other cross product would be the other diagonal, 4 times 3. So in a proportion, when I multiply those cross products, they're going to end up equaling the same thing for it to make a proportion. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. So since my diagonals are equal to each other, I know those two ratios are equal to each other. Let's practice one real quick. So under where it says cross products, let's write down this ratio right here, 4/6 equals 6/9. I want to find out, is this a true statement? Okay, so you should have that written down. Well, we learned that the cross products have to be equal in order for it to make a ratio. So one cross product is going to be 4 times 9. Write that down with me. My other cross product is the other diagonal. So my other cross product would be 6 times 6. Well, do those two things equal each other? 4 times 9 is 36. 6 times 6 is 36. Since they equaled each other, I would say, yes, this made a proportion. So in proportions, it's two ratios that are equivalent to each other. What we mainly are going to be doing, though, is solving for a missing number in our proportions. This is when it gets more complicated. So what I'm going to do is, to solve a proportion, I'm going to set the cross products equal to each other and then divide. Don't worry about writing down this example. I'm just going to walk us through step by step. So here I have an example of 7/n equals 18/42. To solve it, I have to figure out what is this missing letter, or what is the missing number that n equals to. So what I would have to do is I would have to take my one cross product of 7 times 18, and I'm going to make that equal to 42 times n. So don't worry, I'm not going to expect you guys to do that math without a calculator. So what I have for you written on here is I'm going to find the cross products, which means that I have 42n equals 126. Remember, 42n I can write without that x as a multiplication symbol. 7 times 8 is 126. Way back in chapter 2, we learned how to solve an equation that looks like this. How do I undo multiplying by 42? Because right now I'm doing 42 times n. So what's the opposite of multiplying by 42? Dividing by 42. So I would divide both sides by 42 to get an answer of, oh, it got cut off at the bottom, but it said n equals 3. All right, that was a lot thrown at you all at once, so we need to do some practice. So we're going to practice these on our paper right now. What I would like you guys to do is copy down these problems with me on your paper. 3/6 equals x/8. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our cross products equal to each other. So my one cross product, and please circle it on there just so I know that you're doing the cross product, is going to be 3 times 8. Well, what is 3 times 8? 3 times 8 is 24. So my cross product that I have in red is 24. Well, what's my other cross product going to be? I have 6 times x. Well, how do I write 6 times x? Just 6x. Okay, so from here I need to do my solving the equation. If I am multiplying 6 times x, what's the opposite of multiplying by 6? Dividing by 6. So I would divide both sides by 6. My 6's go away. So I get 24 divided by 6 is 4. And I get just x left on the left side. Again, or right side. This is going back to what we learned in chapter 2. So if you're getting a little confused by this, we learned this earlier this year. You just need to remember back to that. What I want you guys to do is I want you guys to now write down 15 over 5 equals x, or 9 over x. And I want you guys to do the best you can to try to solve this one. This is a confusing thing, so we will be going over this in class tomorrow. So if you are confused, don't worry. I'll make it better tomorrow in class and we'll work through it together. But I want you guys to try your best to solve this problem now, and we'll check that in class tomorrow. Hopefully this made a little bit of sense, and we'll work on this more in practice.